Welcome back to another episode on Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. On today's episode, what I'm going to be talking about is understanding what is your why of overcoming your anxiety, or understanding your why of not experiencing anxiety anymore. And of course, I'm going to elaborate by what I mean and to tell you how important this is, because your why is going to push you forward. It's going to keep you motivated whenever you have those down moments, whenever you feel like you're going to be stuck like this for the rest of your life. On top of that, as well, your why will also motivate you and also, as well, release stress. It will release your stress, and also it will move you more in a positive way instead of it motivating you in a negative way. Meaning, for example, that let's say we feel anxious about a certain situation. Let's say we don't want to go back to experience the anxiety symptoms that we have had before. We don't want to experience that. So one of our motivations is that we are going to not want to feel that way. But what that does, if you realize, that puts a lot of stress on ourselves. That puts a lot of pressure on us because we don't want to go back. We don't want to go back to the way we used to be. So our why in this situation is that we don't want to go back to the way we once was. We don't want to go backwards. So that's what's motivating us. That's what's pushing us in order for us to feel much better. But the problem is that that's going to stress you out. That's going to make you focus on your anxiety. That's going to make you focus on, like, every time that you have those down moments, and they, as you know, they do happen because we're not perfect, and the situation with anxiety is not perfect, and we're going to fluctuate. Some days we're going to feel great, and some days we're not. But every time we feel anxious, and every time we feel those down moments, we are going to feel like we're going to feel very down. We're going to feel like crap. And what happens over here is that it demotivates us. Because it feels like, hey, I'm going backwards. I'm not moving forward. Like, what's going on over here? But we need to change that why of what's the reason why you want to come out of anxiety. What is the reason that you want to get out of your situation? That is something you need to ask yourself. And it's important. It's important to instill positive things, positive reasons of why you want to get out of anxiety. Now, I know a lot of people, right, they want to get out of anxiety, like I said before, of not experiencing anxiety, not going backwards, not having panic attacks, but that won't help you to feel much better. That won't give you enough reason why to move forward. Like for me, for example, I'll give you my personal reason of why I wanted to get out of anxiety is because I came to the point where I no longer wanted to live. I did not want to live anymore. I wanted to end it. And I told myself, like, Emmanuel, you're a coward because you want the easy way out. You want the easy way out. So I told myself, okay, what is my why? Why do I want to get out of this? Because I want to stop the suffering? Yeah, I did want to stop the suffering, but that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because I was still struggling. It didn't give me that mindset. I'm always talking about mindset. It's key. And again, this podcast, it's not about just how to deal with your anxiety. It's about also developing the right mindset. In generally speaking, it can be your day-to-day tasks. It can be after you overcome anxiety. So it doesn't have to be only whenever you're dealing with anxiety, but also with our mindset afterwards. And again, we're going to develop most of our mindset while we're experiencing anxiety, so that way whenever we overcome anxiety, we'll be much more powerful than we once was, which is really great. But the reason for me was is because I wanted to live happier. I wanted to live a much happier life. I wanted to live a much better life than I did before. And I remember in college, the professor, we had a certain paper of like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or I think it was something like that. And I wrote it down, and one of the things was that I wanted to be happy. So that was my motivation. I wanted to live a better life than I did even before anxiety. Because I wasn't happy with that. And I wanted to do things that made me happy, to better my life for my future, for my kids, for my wife, so that way I can be a better example for them. That was my why. That's what helped me to come to push myself forward, to invest in myself. That's a big thing. Most people won't invest in themselves. And this is the reason you see that why is going to help you to invest in yourself. Or you can take a more personal example for yourself. Think about, okay, what's the reason why? And I know a lot of people are not aware of this because we are just laser focused on the anxiety because we fear that. We don't want to have that. Because, again, we focus on what we fear. But if we change that, if we change that narrative, if we change that focus into, okay, what's the reason why you want to overcome anxiety? What's the reason why you don't want to experience panic attacks anymore? Is it because you don't like the feeling? Is that the reason why? Or is it because you want to live a life like you once did in going out places, doing things, traveling, being a better spouse, feeling like you want to be a better parent for your kids, doing things for your kids, going out with them, whatever it is. And guys, by the way, just because you have anxiety doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent or a bad spouse or anything like that. It doesn't mean that. It just means that right now you are not capable of doing that, but you do want to. But the motivation should be, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is the reason why I want to do it. Because I want to do it for my family, because I want to go out with them so that they could experience it. And don't let that make you feel guilty right now of like, oh, I can't do this. This really sucks. No, use that as a motivator. And you can also say for yourself, okay, what's the reason why I want to do it for myself? Because I want to live much happier. I want to live a more calmer life, a much stress-free life. I want to know how to be able to handle anxiety, how to be able to handle stress. Or for example, we can tell ourselves, okay, this is something that I wanted to do, but my anxiety is stopping me. Let's say if you wanted to travel, you wanted to go somewhere, but it requires you taking a plane or getting out of your house or going somewhere. But this is something you really enjoy doing. This is something that you enjoy personally. That's nothing to do with your family or anything else. You can use that as a why to motivate you. This concept will help you to move forward so that whenever you have those down moments, it's not because of like, oh man, you see, I'm afraid of going backwards and it feels like I am going backwards and I'm stuck like this. What we could do whenever we have those down moments and look at it like, you know what? I'm down right now. I am going to look at this as a way, as an opportunity for me to continue to grow. And by the way, guys, one of the best ways to overcome anxiety is whenever we have those down moments and we use the tools and techniques and whatever we learn to come out of it, that's going to be the best way to overcome anxiety, by the way. Whenever we are in the trenches, whenever we are in the battle, in the midst of the battle, that's whenever we become victorious. That's whenever we overcome our struggle. It's one of the best ways. It's the hardest way, but it's one of the best ways. And whenever we have the right mindset, we'll be able to handle those battles because, again, some of those battles we're going to lose. We're going to feel defeated and we're going to feel as if we are going backwards. But we can look at that as a way of like, you know what? I'm not going backwards and I'm not afraid of it because I have nothing to fear. I'm not going backwards because look how many tools and techniques I do actually have, how much I've actually learned about anxiety. I'm never going to get to that point again. And my why of overcoming anxiety is not because I fear that. It's more because I want to do things. I want to go places. I want to be the person that I once was. That's the reason why. Not because I fear the past, not because I fear of me going backwards. It's more of me wanting to move forward. That's going to pull you. It's going to pull you instead of you having to push, because right now what you're doing or your why, it's making you push. It's not helping you to pull. But whenever you have that why in a more positive way, what's the reasons why you want to do it, you will feel like it's pulling you more. And by the way, guys, you can apply this with everything. You can apply this with every single aspect of your life. Business, relationships, it can be whatever you like. You can add this in and you can see how instead of you feeling like you're pushing every single day and you being pulled. Like for me, for example, why did I want to become an anxiety coach? Was it because I didn't like my current job? Because I didn't want to work for somebody else? No, it's because I love what I do. I enjoy this and I want to help people. I want to make that impact to see how their lives change because I really enjoy this. And I always say to myself, if I'm able to help one person, it'll be worth it. But that's my why. That's my why of why I want to become an anxiety coach. Because besides of me being good at it, it's because I want to help people. I want them to overcome this because I understand their pain. I want to help others. That's the reason why. And this is why I provide so many tools. This is the reason why I provide the one-on-one sessions. I also provide a 30-minute free consultation, which I will leave a link below so that you can set up. I provide a lot of tools in order for people to overcome their anxiety because I have a passion for this, because I want other people to realize, like, hey, you're not stuck where you are. You have a way. This is why I provide the podcast over here, because I want to show you guys, like, hey, there is a way to overcome this. This is why I've created the CBD to help people to calm down their anxiety. And the CBD wasn't an easy thing to develop. And imagine a year and a half just to get it and everything. It's a very long time, but it was worth it, because at the end of the day, I want to help people to overcome their anxiety naturally so they have a way to deal with it. But do you see the difference of the why? If I had the why of like, oh, because I don't want to work for somebody, or because I don't like my current job, this is just another field maybe I can just get into and see, because a lot of people deal with anxiety, I would not be motivated like I am every single day and day in and day out. And some days it's tough. It's not easy. But I enjoy it because of my why, because my why is much stronger and it's more of a positive why instead of a negative why, which in your case, for example, with anxiety, is that instead of you being afraid of going backwards, or you were being afraid of experiencing an anxiety attack or panic attack, it's more instead of the reason why is because I want this and this and this. That's the thing. That is the difference. And when we have that, we will feel the difference of how we are going to be in our journey in overcoming our anxiety. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask is because this way we're able to reach more people. And the more people that we can actually reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because my mission in this world, my purpose is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally and show them that it's possible to overcome. Thank you guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.